Andrew Forrest last updated 1627, May 11, 2018. Western Force owner Andrew Forrest embraces Marcel Brache after his team won their World Series Rugby match against the Fiji Warriors at Perth's Nib Stadium last weekend. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. The Man in the Arena, Theodore Roosevelt, the 23rd of April, 1910. While more than a century has passed since his famous "The Man in the Arena" speech, Theodore Roosevelt's words remain relevant for your acerbic rugby critic Mark Reason. The main tenor of Reason's opinion piece, "Are you sure you're not just cheering for the clothes?" appears to be that unlike Crusaders fans, West Australians have no right to embrace the new Western Force because most of the players weren't born here. Even critics should do their homework. Read more *, Rugby's burning questions *, All Black duo back for Chiefs *, England select Brad Shields *, Moody finally on the mend *, Blues confront Kiwi Hoodoo. Perhaps the biggest success the Western Force achieved in Super Rugby was to develop players from the local club competition to Super Rugby standard. In the club's last season in 2017, a record 12 players who were either born in Western Australia or came through the local club competition represented the Western Force. 4 local juniors, Richard Hardwick, Dane Haylett-Petty, Curtis Rona and Kyle Godwin, went on to play for the Wallabies. Last year, then Western Force coach Dave Wessel summed this up ahead of the Waratahs match when he stated, "Our club now is 12 years old, so if you take a kid who is 22-23 now and is starting to play regular Super Rugby, he was 10 years old when the club was formed. So we are getting the first wave of players who started to play because there is Super Rugby in Perth. We now have more locally produced players than ever in the team and a huge number of those starting on the weekend, so what happened to this crop of locally produced Super Rugby players? Most had no choice but to pack up their families and belongings and leave Perth after the Australian Rugby Union callously ripped our team apart last year." Even then, when Reason stated that Tevin Ferris was the only locally produced player in the new Western Force squad, he conveniently overlooked the likes of Tom Sheminant, AJ Alatimu, Brad Lacey, Kieran Longbottom, Harry Scoble and Clay Wynn, 7 WA products on the team and 12 players that, regardless of their origin, have worn the Force blue before. Reason went on to dismiss as really odd the fact that the new Western Force had drawn such a huge crowd to Friday night's opening match against Fiji. Let me provide some context. The Perth crowd of almost 20,000 was the biggest attendance at any rugby game in Australia this year. That's right. And with Super Rugby crowds floundering, why on earth wouldn't you try to improve the match day entertainment and trial new rules to make the game more fan-friendly? Sure, the new Western Force is not the Crusaders. No one is. But while we are barely a month or so old, we have already harnessed some of the game's most important attributes for the rugby world to see. We have pride, passion and the support of a parochial local rugby community, many born in other parts of the globe, who have risen against the injustice of having their Super Rugby team torn away for no good reason. And yes, Mr. Reason, we all look forward to the Crusaders coming to Perth on June 22nd to play our new team. In front of a sellout crowd, of course. As far as my motivations are concerned in all of this, let me borrow a line from Theodore Roosevelt's "The Man in the Arena" speech, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Andrew Forrest, Perth, Western Australia, the 10th of May 2018 *NB. Mark Reason was referring to the run-on side, not the entire squad. Billionaire Andrew Forrest addresses Western Force fans before the World Series Rugby game against Fiji. Andrew Forrest owns the Western Force, who lost their place in Super Rugby and many of their players as a result. Stuff.